Happy Friday. Here's a story about values. Now, Marley and Robbie lived on the island of Shetland in a croft. And every summer, Robbie would take a job on a ship. And he would earn enough money in the summer to buy herring and oats and all of the other things that they needed to survive through the winter. And between them, they had 4 beautiful children. One summer, Robbie set off on one of his sailing adventures, but was never to return. And it was thought that Robbie had been shipwrecked and killed. Well, Marley was left with the 4 children, and she did her best, as only a good mother can. She took in some clothes to be mended. She did some work around other people's houses and so forth. But actually the money just wasn't coming in. And gradually, Marley and her 4 children fell into poverty. There was nothing left in the oats bag. There was nothing left in the barrel with the herring. And they were just scraping around for food. The 3 youngest children were crying through hunger, empty stomachs, and the eldest boy was doing his best to hold it all together. But there was just nothing for it. Marley said to her eldest son, "Right, this is it. There's nothing left for us. We're going to go and have to knock on our neighbours' doors and ask for food, beg for food, effectively." They'd gotten so low. And so Marley took her 4 children and she headed on up the hill to where she knew an old lady lived and had plenty of food. And that evening they got to the front door of this old lady's house and they banged on the door. And the old lady shouted from inside, "Who's that at this time of night?" Marley said, "It's Marley and me 4 children, and we're starving, and I wondered if you'd got anything to spare to line the stomachs of my poor children." And the old woman opened the door and had a sort of sneer and looked at Marley and said, "Be off with you, be off with you. There'll be no food here for you and your like." And she slammed the door in Marley's face. Well, the eldest son was furious. He said, "Look, Ma, look! Did you see inside her house, into her kitchen? She had bread, she had butter, she had jam, she had meats, she had more than enough food for her own needs, and yet she wouldn't give us a single morsel." "Aye," said Marley, "don't you worry about it, but we're better than that. And anybody that comes knocking on our door will always receive a welcome." And so they went home. Now, luckily, Marley had enough peats for the fire, and they could stay warm even if they were very hungry. And the children went to bed, and Marley put peat on the fire to keep them warm that evening. Later, as the children had gone to sleep, there was a rap, rap, rap at the door. Marley said, "Who's that at this time of the evening?" And she opened the door, and there stood a little man dressed in grey. He had grey whiskers, and he had bright, shiny eyes full of mischief. Marley guessed straight away that he was a Trow, and a Trow is a Shetland fairy folk. "Good evening, sir," she said. "What can I do for you?" "Oh," said the little man, "I've been walking for miles, and I wondered if I could take a rest in your house, and maybe you've got some food and drink for me to have." "Oh dear," said Marley, "you've come to the wrong place. I'm afraid we've got nothing here, not even a scrap." "Oh well," said the old man, "I'll take my chances with you." And Marley let him in, and he made himself comfortable by the fire as the peats were roaring on the hearth. It was nice and warm, and he said, "Come on, lass, come on. You've got something to eat, surely." Marley did her best, and she went to the sacks of oats, and she scraped up the last of the dusty bits of the oats at the bottom of the sack, and she went to the barrel where the herring was normally pickled, and she scraped the last of the vinegar and the pickling juices. And she mixed it all together in some sort of a really, really grim sort of paste. She put them on the fire, and she served them as biscuits. There were 6 of them, one each for the children, who were now looking at the little man from under their bed sheets, bewildered at this funny little fellow that had turned up. And he said, "Are you sure this is all you've got?" She said, "Yeah, this is absolutely the last of our food, but we'll happily share it with you." Aye. But come on, lass, come on. You're bound to have just a sup of ale or something like that, hiding in the kitchen. She said, "No, no, but I do have sweet, sweet water from the well, which you are welcome to." "Ooh," he said, "water from the well? No, I don't think so. I'm trying to give up. But anyway, thank you all the same." And with that, they all retired, with the little fella sat in his chair by the fire, warming his feet on the roaring, roaring fire. The next morning, the little Trow bid them farewell, and he said, "Do you know, you have nothing in your house to eat, nothing in your house to drink, and yet you still welcomed me in. And so, blessings to you and your family. And I bid you good day." And Marley bid the Trow good day, and off the Trow went. "Oh," said Marley, "right, I'm going to go and fix the fire." And she went outside and she brought in some more peat, blocks of peat it comes in. And as she broke the first peat block in 2 to put it on the fire, ting! A gold coin fell out onto the floor. "Oh," she said, "what luck! What luck! Look, a gold coin! Fantastic!" And she threw the peats on the fire and took up another block and broke it open. Pching! There's another gold coin. "Ooh, this is odd." And she broke another, and more gold coins fell out all over the floor. She said, "Look, look at all this gold. Look at all this gold we've got. This is what is meant from the blessings of the Trow." And the more of these peat blocks she broke open, the more gold coins she had. "Right, lad," she said to her eldest boy, "right, get yourself down into the village. Take some of this gold. We want bread, we want cheese, we want meats, we want butter. Don't forget the jam, strawberry jam, and tea." Off the lad went, racing down the hill, brought back all this food. Well, news of Marley's good fortune soon spread through the neighbourhood, and the old lady on top of the hill in the house was very jealous. "Oh," she said, how come all this good fortune has gone to Marley when actually, I'm really in need of some gold?" And so one evening, the old lady snuck down to see what was going on in Marley's house, and she watched Marley break open a chunk of big block of peat and for a gold coin to fell out. Ah, she went, so that's what's going on here. And the next evening, the old lady brought a great big basket on her back, and she loaded it up with Marley's peat blocks, stolen from Marley's peat store, and ran back up to her own house. And she made that trip 8, 9, 10 times that night and took all of Marley's peat. So Marley had nothing in the morning to warm her house with. And that morning the old lady took the first bit of peat block and she broke it open, expecting, of course, a gold coin to fall onto the floor. But instead of a gold coin, a little mouse fell out. "Oh," she said, "that must be a bit of a dud." So she took another and broke it open, and another mouse fell out. Well, she was really annoyed. Another dud. She took another, a third, broke it open, and there fell out a little mouse, a little live mouse. In fact, the old lady broke open all of Marley's peat, and in every one was a little mouse. Well, the mice got together and had a little conference, and the leader mouse said, "Do you know, I am starving. I could do with something to line my stomach. What have we got round here?" And so the mice, by now a lot of them, ran around the house and they ate all of the bread, all of the cheese, all of the meats. They ate the curtains. They ate the old lady's clothes. They ate her bedclothes. In fact, they ate pretty much all of the house. The phrase "ate her out of house and home" applies here. And they ate so much that the old lady became poor, had nothing to eat, and there was only one thing for it. She walked down the hill and she knocked on Marley's door. "Marley," she said, "I'm hungry and I'm cold and I'm starving. I wonder if you can help me." And the eldest boy opened the door. And he stood there in front of the old lady and he said, "When we were starving and cold and poor, you would do nothing. And so we will not help you now." And he slammed the door back in her face. But Marley was watching this from the kitchen. "No, no, no," she said. "We are not like that. Anybody who comes knocking on our door will always receive a welcome." And she went to the door and she opened the door. And the old lady was halfway down the garden by now. And she said, "Old lady, you come on back here and come and have something to eat with us." And that's the end of the story. Marley kept her good fortune and was returned some of her peat blocks from the old lady. And she continued to be generous and to help those in need. Have a lovely weekend.